Whilst on the road with his performers, Maximus is ensuring word of the Blood Harvest Ball is spread to all fellow vampires of the highest standing along the way. Maximus has stopped off at a tavern on his return journey to Garrelos, where the caravan is currently located. His business in Drevin, that is to say, Necrotia, is now settled, and now he wishes to drink to the endeavour. Unfortunately for him, a particular individual has learnt of this somewhat prestigious event, and now they wish to muscle in, not yet realizing their former employer has agreed to become involved in the festivities. Barkeep, this ale is bland. I suggest you replace it on the house, or by the powers, I shall become very disagreeable.
If you know what's best for you, Maximus, you'll keep your tone light. I understand a group of peacekeepers are on their way to Ondar City and need a rest stop. They've chosen this tavern of all places, and it would not be good for both of us if they found a fight taking place.
I suppose you have a point. Besides, I'm in no mood this evening for a brawl. Look, just replace my ale with something that has a little more kick to it, and I'll find myself a nice quiet booth to doze off in.
I'm happy if you're happy, Maximus. There you are. A nice fresh pint of ale for you. I can organise some food for you if you're interested. I imagine you'd like a bite to tide you over.
No thanks. I grabbed a bit to eat when I reached Fort Titan, so that makes my last feed-in about 2 days ago.
You managed to feed Fort Titan? How did you do it?
You'll be surprised to know that their garrison is perhaps somewhat more relaxed than many people realise. They don't seem to care about travellers, and if one perhaps disappears without a trace, they claim they don't have time nor the resources to investigate. All the better for a hungry vampire. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to take my pint, find a quiet booth, and have myself a snooze. If I'm able to get any peace. Maximus sits himself down with his back to the door. He hears the door open and the small entry bell ring that indicates to the barkeep that he has a new customer. However, the newcomer does not stop at the bar. Maximus can hear the figure walking over to his booth, and then the voice that fills him with pure anger drifts through the air.
Well, Maximus, I am so glad to see you once more. It has been a long time, my friend.
No, I don't want anything to do with you this time. I should have killed you when I had the opportunity. Letting you live has been one of the biggest mistakes I have ever made.
Maximus, you wound me so with your words. I have come here in good faith to give you my assistance, and you reject me in such ungentlemanly manner. You should treat your guests with greater respect.
You are the last person on this planet whom I would ever show any respect towards. You disgust me on so many levels. You are repulsive, arrogant, manipulative, untrustworthy, and perhaps the most annoying individual I have ever had the most displeasure of knowing. Good day to you.
That is quite the pity. I have something that might interest you greatly. perhaps even help to elevate you up to the higher levels of power and control in Drevin.
Now you listen to me, Rafik. I don't have time for your ridiculous games, nor your foolish ideas. Whatever it is, I am not buying, because remember this, and remember this very well. You work for me. I do not make purchases from you because whatever you have to sell is either stolen or acquired through grave robbing, and only one individual sanctions that amongst my kind, and that is Lord Volkov himself.
Then perhaps you can fill me in on the upcoming event. It sounds most exciting.
What upcoming event?
Why, the Blood Harvest Ball, of course. I hear there will be many rich, powerful and influential vampires present. I would so love to mingle amongst them, offering my services.
How did you ever come to know of the Blood Harvest Ball? It is not public knowledge, and only vampires are permitted to attend.
Oh, I have my methods. You forget I can be very, very persuasive.
You make me sick.
Tell me, will the lesser vampire kin be present? Or is it open to anyone?
You will have nothing to do with it, as far as I'm concerned. If I catch you within a mile of the city when the ball is at its peak, I will personally take great pleasure in gutting you myself. And don't think I've not fantasized about gutting you. Slowly.
But you need a man of business present. You forget that it is used to make business propositions and create financial transactions. It is the perfect opportunity to take on special tasks for the vampire elite. Believe me, Maximus, I'm needed there.
You are not needed anywhere. I suspected you might show your ugly face to me, and I have guaranteed Lord Volkov that you will remain away from the Blood Harvest Ball. Because, as I said, I will gut you like a fish.
I see. So I take it you will be on the watch for my presence. It really does appear you wish for me to stay away from the ball. Very well. I know when I'm not desired. But remember this, Maximus. You need me more than I need you. I can survive without you quite comfortably.
Oh, I think I'm going to survive quite well myself, without your ugly face anywhere near me. Now, I suggest you leave before I pick you up by the scruff of your neck and launch you out of here myself.
As you so wish, Maximus. However, I shall be present at the Blood Harvest Ball, whether you like it or not. I will find my way into the event, and I will make my line of business to your guests. You will be unable to stop me.
Rafik walks out of the bar. The barkeep moves over to talk to Maximus.
Who was that rather odious little man?
Just someone who likes to make my life difficult. He used to work for the Shadow Court.
Lord Volkov has allowed the Shadow Court into Drevin, hasn't he? Why didn't you tell your friend?
Because Corvus wants my friend's head on a silver platter, and I hope that I will be the one to give it to him. That's why I have placed down the gauntlet.
You mean you expected him to attend regardless of what you said?
If I know Rafik, He will move the mountains to get into something as important as the Blood Harvest Ball. Though he won't be having a grand time with the other guests. He'll be a guest of General Jericho until Corvus arrives to collect him. Maximus has a problem on his hands with the arrival of Rafik. Whilst the rogue is not considered a threat, he is a greater headache than Maximus makes him out to be. However, he is right that Corvus will want Rafik captured and handed over to him, so that he can be punished for betraying the Shadow Court. Meanwhile, in Necrotia, Lord Volkov has contacted one of his oldest and greatest friends. The Ancient One has arrived, and it is said he is the first true vampire. Volkov wants to make sure he is given the reception his guest deserves. It is good to have your presence once again in Drevin, my master. I trust you have kept well.
I have been restless as of late. Vladimir? I have received grim news that other factions are working against us.
You have genuine need to be concerned, my master. Although I have taken matters into my hands and dispatched supporters of our cause to handle against these other factions.
That reassures me greatly. You have always been my most loyal and truthful protege. I am glad I chose you over your stepbrother to become leader of the vampires. Is he still around?
Who, my lord?
Your stepbrother, of course. I had it on good terms that he had settled within the city and had become a respected member of the Vampire Council.
My master, my stepbrother was murdered about 200 years ago by agents of the monarchy. They turned him to dust using mirrors and magnifiers. I understand they captured him during the Battle of Taros. We considered mounting a rescue effort, but the battle cost us greater in numbers than we anticipated. We were not strong enough to form a rescue committee.
That is now the past. What is has happened, and what will happen shall happen.
I trust you will attend the Blood Harvest Ball, my master.
I, the Ancient One, miss out on a grand ball? Don't be ridiculous. Of course I shall be there. I have attended every grand ball held since the founding of this city over 7,000 years ago. Of course, you are far too young to remember the Antius Empire. The city was known as... Oh, now what was it known as at the time? Ah well, it doesn't matter. What matters is back then we vampires had greater influence than we do now. In fact, the Antius Empire was practically ruled by the vampires until the Great War that brought the empire to a destructive end. Drevin is not even the city it was at its founding, so it's pointless trying to make a comparison anyway. Besides, we lost everything at the end of the war, and when the Ondarian monarchy was founded over 1,000 years ago, we were forced into hiding. We've done so ever since until you arrived and took control of this city. The vampire race owes you a great debt, Vladimir.
I am honored to take on the mantle of leader of the vampires.
And so you should be, Vladimir. You always had the making of a fine leader, and I'm proud to have helped build up your influence. We need more vampires like you. I hear you have finally dealt with Valna too. Much more obedient, is he?
Much more, my master. The obedience machine worked a charm. He is now seated upon the council, though I have yet to find an official capacity for him.
Very good, Vladimir. And what of Maximus? Is he still your representative on the road? I hear he's formed a new caravan, though I hear he is not having much luck with recruitment for it.
The caravan makes the perfect cover story for his real mission. Though I admit, I would like to see him gain a few more recruits to help keep the capacity balanced. He has more workers than performers, and I believe some people are beginning to ask questions as to the validity of the group. It would undermine the cover story for his real mission.
I foresee that eventually they shall flock to him. These things take time. However, knowing Maximus as well as I do, he is tenacious. He is a showman. For all time I have known him, I have never seen him allow a setback to overtake him. He shall bide his time, no doubt, and when he finally receives the recognition he deserves, that will be when the big time shall strike rich for him.
Most eloquently put, my master. Most eloquent indeed. I feel Maximus would be most encouraged by your gracious words.
Now, tell me, what of my son? Does he serve you dutifully? Does he serve you with honor and respect?
The general is serving me well. I have granted him the highest honor as leader of my most elite guard. Only the finest vampires are chosen, and only those most loyal to me are accepted within its ranks, once they have proven their loyalty.
I am delighted to know that Jericho is serving you well, Vladimir. I have high hopes for him. Such a position will teach him discipline. He is still young for a vampire, and therefore inexperienced in some of the finer forms of etiquette we are expected to undertake.
That is why I granted him the position of general. His mannerisms are, in all honesty, too rough for him to be accepted into polite vampire society. But his determination and military prowess has molded him perfectly to lead the vampire armies in the war that is to come. However, at this time, he is my personal bodyguard and my chief interrogator. I know he takes great pleasure in his latter duties. He has quite the thirst for causing pain.
That pleases me more than you could possibly imagine, Vladimir. And now I must return to my chambers to rest and prepare myself, though there is still time before the Blood Harvest Ball takes place. Several months, in fact. I wish to make certain that my mind is clear for all that tedious conversation that I will have to endure. At least you shall be present. I enjoy conversing with you, Vladimir. Farewell. I shall see you at the Blood Harvest Ball when it takes place.
I will be honored to see you there, my master. With the Ancient One having arisen early once again to make his presence known at the Blood Harvest Ball, Lord Volkov feels a sense of smug satisfaction. With his lord and master present, Volkov knows that his influence will increase at the event, due to the mind powers the Ancient One can wield. If Volkov can somehow hone those talents upon his fellow vampires, whose loyalty remains questionable, then he may be able to find out just how many are against his leadership, and who they really want in his place. However, this is not the primary purpose of the ball. After all, it's the celebration of the first tasting of produce from the reservoir beneath the city. Many slaves will be selected and drained for the pleasure and enjoyment of many a vampire, and not a single bite will be required. Though perhaps there will be some traditionalists who wish to take a bite once in a while from the servants.